channel, Traveling with Jack and Pam. I did a complete update as to what we're expecting with the remnants of what was Hurricane Hilary. It made landfall this morning along the Baja Peninsula of Mexico and has been spreading some really heavy rain up into Southern California and is continuing to move northward. And what you're looking at now, this is going to be the live view from Phoenix, Arizona. That's what we are seeing here. Of course, nobody watching yet, so I'll just kind of, let's see, can I reverse the camera? I believe I can. Hey, as I mentioned, we're was Hurricane Hilary. Now it was a tropical storm, downgraded to a tropical storm when it made landfall in the Baja Peninsula. Keep in mind, it hit cooler water, it hit land, it's losing a lot of its energy, but it has still got the potential for some heavy rain and some gusty winds as well, even here in Arizona. But it looks like the brunt of the storm right now, if you look over at our main channel, our YouTube channel, I did a complete report. Keep in mind, my background is a meteorologist, that it looks like the bulk of the really heavy rain and such is probably going to be in the desert areas of California and then spreading up towards Las Vegas, the Sierra Nevada range, places like that as well. As for here in the Phoenix area, we're getting some gusty winds, a little bit of light rain, and I think dust may end up being the biggest problem we'll have. Is it's going to really get kicked up. In fact, I'm going to turn the camera around now and give you a look. I am out in a desert preserve area, and if you look, let's see if you can see my finger out there. See that? All on the bottom there? That is most likely dust and dirt that's been kicked up with some of the gusty winds. Now, you may be saying, well, I thought the winds weren't that strong. Well, it really doesn't take that much wind to start kicking the dust up around here. And I could tell that there's dust in the air because while I was out here doing some walking around and doing a little bit of filming and such, I could feel tickle in my throat, and my sinuses are kind of getting activated as well. But that is the view. We are actually in North Scottsdale, and so you're looking back towards Phoenix is what you're looking at. And again, we're watching that wall of what looks to be dirt and dust. There is some light rain mixed in. In fact, I'm of course shooting this with a dash camera, and you may actually start to see a little bit of a light rain falling as well. So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to take you along the drive back into Phoenix, and we'll see what we're going to encounter. Again, we're not going to have any major storm effects here in Phoenix, I don't believe. Could get, if you get some heavy downpours from time to time, and that remains to be seen, we could get some isolated flooding in some of the washes and things like that. But right now, the biggest change has been the humidity. You know, our humidity values here are generally about 10% or less many days. Today, I looked at our humidity readings in the last couple of hours. It's been as high as 55%. Now, for some of you that live in the Southeast, and I used to live in Florida, that's nothing. I mean, you know, you can have 80-90% humidity there. But trust me, when you're used to it being 5 and 10%, and it leaps up to 50-55%, you certainly do notice the change. And again, look out there in the distance, you can see some of the dust that I'm talking about that appears to be getting kicked up. Then we take a turn around here, and you can see, you might be saying, well, the skies look really, really dark. I'm going to tell you, though, the cloud cover is pretty high. So low cloud cover that you traditionally would see with some stronger storms and things like that. And there's probably rain falling to the ground. So that's kind of the case there. So we'll continue to kind of drive along here. It's about approaching 6 o'clock Pacific time, and it gets dark here this time of year. Of course, Arizona doesn't do the daylight saving time, which I'm going to tell you, I have learned to love that. But we don't do the daylight saving time, and so it'll get dark here tonight. I think sundown is at 7:13, 7:12, something like that. So again, that's just kind of a little live update. We're going to circle around here a little bit more. We'll check out that. Now here we're looking back towards the north, and we don't see a wall of dust because, of course, we've got mountains there. Now also in those mountains, that's where you can get some really strong gusty winds when the wind starts to funnel in between the mountains and the canyons and such, and it will get stronger at times there. But when you're out here just on the flat surface, you know, the flatter areas of the desert, you're not going to get that type of effect, but you'll still get some gusty winds. So what we're going to do, I'm going to circle us back in here so we can take one more look back across the valley area of where the city of Phoenix is located and see how things are looking. But right now, I mean, things again are very calm, not expecting any major storm effects here in the Phoenix area. That's not to say, though, that we might not get some isolated thunderstorms, things like that. I understand up in the Las Vegas area, the Sierra Nevada range, there are some great concerns there. If they get some heavy rain, especially in the mountains, and that starts to turn into runoff into some of the washes and streams there. And of course, reservoirs and lakes are already pretty high in California from the record rains this winter. So these additional rains that they get may not have any place else to go. It'll be interesting to see the reports from Death Valley, what kind of rain totals we get out of there. The Phoenix area, officially at the airport, they've not had rain for, I believe, almost 150 days, dating back into the wintertime. But as I mentioned, probably going to get some out of this system. And there you again, you look out there. For those of you that are just joining us, let me put my finger. That appears to be a line of dust and dirt that's being kicked up with the winds. And I do suspect there's a little bit of rain mixed in as well. So that's about it. If you want me to, I can keep the live feed going just while we're driving back into town, but I don't really see any need in going on and on and on. You know, I used to work in television, and I can remember, you know, the weather guy, they'd say, keep talking, keep talking. You know, sometimes we would just go on and on and on. And if you're in an active storm situation and things are changing quickly, yeah, you need to do that. But in conditions like this, where things really aren't changing that rapidly, I don't see a great need for continuing on and on longer. I mentioned earlier, I'm trying desperately to find a way to do this live feed in landscape mode. I hate portrait mode, where you just get that narrow picture. Now, if you're on a mobile device, it looks fine, but if you're like looking on a desktop, something like that, it's kind of a narrow view. So now we're heading back kind of in a southeast direction, and again, we can kind of see that line of what appears to be some dust or maybe some light rain mixed in it off to the distance there. It was interesting today when I went to the grocery store. I had to pick up a couple of items. The grocery store had the most people I've ever seen in it. I think they've been watching too much coverage when Florida has a hurricane and everybody runs to the store. I don't think we're in any danger of needing to run to the store and make a run on all the products and things. We're going to be just fine here. And so I'm going to I think I'll keep going straight. Just give you a little more look out there. I think we can still all see in the distance there kind of that dusty look that we've got out there. Pardon me. Sometimes when you see the car go up and down like that, that's because you have these, you don't really have the street gutters, so to speak, like you do in other cities, but you have these runoff drains here more than anything. So everything just kind of drains on the surface and back off into other areas. So that is about it. Not seeing a whole lot else that I can share with you here. I appreciate those of you that do check in from time to time, and tell others about our channel. We're really trying to continue to grow it. I'm thankful for the growth we have had, though. We've got almost 4,000 subscribers now, and sometimes we get several thousand viewers. I know that Pam is smiling in heaven, because I still remember when she thought it was a dream to just get 100 people to watch our little channel. So I guess it's not that bad, and gives me something to do. All right, here now we're going to head back in this direction. We're now kind of looking towards the south and west. And again, if you see how the color line of the sky changes there on the lower part of your screen, I still believe we're getting a little bit of dust mixed in there. And while I can't turn the camera for you to look to the left, I've noticed that some of the couple of the buildings, they have big electronic signs you can see for a long way. You can't see those as much now, so they're becoming a little bit obscured. But you can see no rain falling. It's dry where we are. Oh, every now and then I see a little sprinkle hit the windshield, but you can't see that. And I guess I should speed up. Oh yeah, it's 50 miles an hour here. If you ever come to Phoenix, please be aware they take their speed limits on the side streets and such, not necessarily the freeways, but the side roads, they take it seriously. They've got speed traps all over the place. They do the photo enforcement a lot in Paradise Valley. Yours truly has been a proud recipient of a couple of those, but I was able to get out of both of them as well. It was kind of a detailed thing. I won't get into all that. But in the meantime, you can see our weather here. For those of you, if you have friends and relatives in the area, all is going to be just fine in Phoenix. We'll keep the prayers going for the folks in California where they're getting the heavy rains. But again, look at the glass half full. Always need rain anywhere in the Southwest anytime you can get it. I understand too that a 5.0 earthquake centered near Ojai. Sure, we'll hear about some stuff falling off shelves and things like that. A 5.0 is generally not going to cause widespread damage, but of course it will certainly rattle the nerves a little bit, rattle the shelves, and that on top of a Hilary coming to town, that probably is a little much for folks to take there. But here in a couple of days, this will all just be a memory and everything's going to be just fine. So that's about it. I'm going to shut her down now. We'll flip the camera around for those of you that are just dying to see me. There I am. We're at a red light. So, but again, as always, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. And, you know, lots of other videos on the channel. I always like to encourage you to do that. Check out the playlist. One for grief support videos, one for cooking demos and restaurant reviews, and one for travel as well. Speaking of travel, I am going to give you one more look. Down here on the right, I talked about the speed traps. I know it has nothing to do with the weather. But right there on the right, you're going to see a little white van. Watch on your right there, or over there. That little van, they're set up all over the place in Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, and they will snap your picture if you're going too fast. And they snap a lot of photos around here. So if you ever visit us in this part of the world, be aware of that. Until we see you next time, you know what we like to say, make it a great day, better yet, a better tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on Traveling with Jack and Pam. Bye now.